Aloha and welcome to part number 3 of our 4-part Funkadelic special, Build Your Own History of Funk, Learn and Burn session. Today, our funk master, Kamenica, will be showing us years 1972 to 1975. Of course, for our Learn and Burn session, we have hot stuff. I will be on a delicious pear and Carolina Reaper schnapps produced by our friends, Kamenica, and their number 5 Carolina Reaper hot sauce. Our dear friends over at Kamenica, Uli, the head honcho, will also be on his number 5 hot sauce, plus their delicious Caribbean sauce made with a shit ton of super hot Trinidad Moruga scorpion chilies. All right, boys and girls, time to get funky.
Any list about funk is not complete with the godfather of the whole shit. That would be James Brown. As you know, I smashed a car listening to James Brown. As you know, I'm a big James Brown fan. I have never seen any person take that much PCP and manage to do anything relevant and intelligent afterwards. James Brown's the man. Now, you have chosen for your list James Brown, 73, The Payback. Tell us about it.
I thought Payback is a song which I got on as well as on single, as on album, as on compilation. And it's one of the earlier stuff, and I'm a bit afraid to continue talking about James Brown, as you have so bad experiences to
No.
guy. I didn't know he was on PCP.
Have you never seen, there's a wonderful video of James Brown, a very famous video of him being interviewed when he's on PCP, directly before he got arrested. You know, James Brown got arrested because he was in the James Brown office building, which he owned. And there was a second group of people who rented a couple of floors in that building. And James Brown did a bunch of PCP and did an interview with an American news network. And it's a brilliant interview. I can strongly recommend it. Essentially, the person tries to interview him and he just sits there doing this. Yeah. Hey, good God. And that's what he does for the whole interview. And directly after the interview, he then went and got himself a shotgun and then ran into the next rented office rooms that he rented to people and started to threaten the staff because he thought that they were using his toilet. And then the police came, and then James Brown got involved in a long-term car chase. The police chased him and caught him and arrested him and charged him with threatening people with a gun, domestic violence, and PCP possession. It's on YouTube, baby. Check it out.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. Yeah, I'm blind by the music. But I should get informed.
So. Willie Hutch, 1973, another blaxploitation theme from the Mack. Tell us a bit of information, please, sir.
Yes, a brother's gonna work it out from the Mack. The Mack is one of the I think of the better blaxploitation movies. As is Willie Hutch. I got another Willie Hutch soundtrack here.
Oh, nice. That's Pam Grier, baby.
It's Pam
Foxy
Grier,
Brown.
yes. He also made the soundtrack. He played the soundtrack for Foxy Brown and few more. So he was one of the top blaxploitation musicians. So I chose this. I didn't find. I have a whole section in my collection about only soundtracks, and there's half of it is blaxploitation, and the other half is pornography. music.
Well, with Pam Grier, you're half-half. If those of you young people out there who are too young to know what or I mean when I speak about Pam Grier, or perhaps you know Pam Grier from Jackie Brown, made by Quentin Tarantino in the 90s or early 2000s, I guess. But you think you're sexy? You have not seen sexy until you have seen Pam Grier in Foxy Brown. I personally, I think it's a very bad idea to watch Foxy Brown before you're married, because you will always be disappointed by the females that you meet if you've seen Foxy Brown first. It's a very, very unbelievably sexual female that you see there. And oh my God, is she cool as fuck. Oh.
She is, yeah. I even liked her in her later days. Like you said, Jackie Brown. She's still a very, very sexy woman.
Absolutely. Mm. Oh, bitch. That shit is so good, but my God, oh my God, Dad's got a kick to that shit. Oof. Boys and girls out there who don't work in the chili industry, you might discover that a lot of people who work in the chili industry, maybe me, for example, pretty much work here so that we can get limited edition, not for sale to the public, chili stuff to eat. And I'm loving it. Oh, yes.
Glad to hear. Glad to hear.
Dude, you're a fucking artist. And talking of artists, our next step is MFSB, The Sound of Philadelphia, or Philly, 1973. What are we looking at?
There's, first of all, it's one of the most important groups from Philadelphia, not only at that time, but I'm speaking in general. But the other thing is...
story of funk.
Yes, the thing is they are more important for the story of disco. Yeah, because what you had before that time was either funk, yeah, or danceable R&B, which was just faster played R&B music. So what they did is they made it more danceable, yeah, and they built the first bricks of, or they laid the first bricks of disco music, which is for me like which is the bit crazier brother of the funk music, or yeah, and I love
to, you could say.
Yeah, I like that one. Funk on Coke. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Studio 54, if we're talking about disco music, essentially was a gigantic edifice built from cocaine. And so I guess if you filter funk into something like disco, that's what you got. Oh.
Yeah, pretty much. But Studio 54 was just one club. And there was the much more important club in New York was the Paradise Garage. That's where Keith Haring used to hang out. And yeah, it was actually it was a gay club because yeah, that's where it developed in New York. And yeah, the Paradise Garage. But MFSB, Mother, Father, Sister, Brother, The Sound of Philadelphia, was the first group of the so-called Philly sound, which was the older brother of the disco music, talking in family terms. And there was the label Philadelphia International Records, and on the Philadelphia International Records there were the 3 Degrees, there were the OJs, which we're talking later, actually.
Yeah, we'll get to the OJs, but then first we have to go to the Impressions. 3 The Hard Way, another blaxploitation classic. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you don't know blaxploitation cinema, get it in your life now. Look at that. Look at that shit. Now, talk to us, my boy. The impressions.
Yeah.
3 Halfway, 1974.
Yeah, it's actually very. Again, the movie is like has a very flat story, but the soundtrack is, as always, unbeatable. Seriously, unbeatable. And Three the Hard Way was, I think, even one of the more brutal ones. And As You Love It, with a lot of pseudo kung fu moves.
I adore that shit. And we jump next talking about, excuse me, slowly dying here. I do apologize. But that's what's good about a burn session. My endorphins are kicking in as well. Oh, I see we're on again, huh? I see. Well, I talked before about my cultural appropriation of being a sort of semi-white kid in a suburb, or Vorort, as the Germans call it. I'm feeling a little bit like I was stealing something when I got to the funk. And we come now to the average white band, 1974. Pick up the pieces. Explain, dear boy.
You are probably very familiar with a horn riff, aren't you?
Yes.
Claro.
Yep.
And I think they are even British, aren't they? Not sure.
I couldn't comment on that. I'm not sure. But if I listen to extremely funky music, the last thing I think is that they were eating fish and chips in a fish and chip shop sometime in that day. So maybe not, but maybe, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Maybe I mixed it up, but yeah. This here clearly, I chose it for the horn riff. Seriously, yeah.
Love it.
But average white band. I'm an average white person, so yeah, that's.
I would call you many things, my dear Uli, but average is definitely not one of them. However, we're about to jump onto one of my favorite groups in the history of music, which is Kool and the Gang. And we've got here in our list, in our history, 1975's Jungle Jazz. Tell us some info, my specialist expert.
There is the later version is the more known version of the song, and that's the Jungle Boogie. But this is the Jungle Jazz, and the Jungle Jazz was on the album, which was I'm not sure, but I think it was their first album in '74, okay. And it's a bit more smooth than the Jungle Boogie. And that's why I picked it. And I wanted to have Kool and the Gang on the list. And the later stuff was a bit too electronic for my taste.
And for those of you out there who aren't quite sure why you know the name Jungle Boogie, if you're a lot younger than us two old, bald men who are talking to you, then you probably know from Quentin Tarantino's fantastic movie, Pulp Fiction, the riffs and the chorus. Jungle Boogie, doodle, doodle, Jungle Boogie. Give it up now. Jungle Boogie.
And that was the end of part 3 of this Funkadelic special. Tune in right now for the last part, the years 1975 until today. I'll see you there.